Hello everyone, Calina here of StoryRetold, and we are continuing I'm reacting to Arglefumph's Everything Wrong with Nancy Drew Games. This is Trail of the Twister. Be sure to check out this playlist in the link to the playlist in the description below, and be sure to go over to Arglefumph's channel, give him a thumbs up, and follow him. Here we go. We are encroaching the areas where I started to work on the Nancy Drew games, so I might get a little defensive. Okay, no audio here, right here, so. Okay.
Crowmeister suspects that there is
Audio is really
far
quiet.
more sinister than simple equipment failure going on.
We're stuck with this garbage. You're going to have to take care warming it up since it's about twice your age.
The equipment is over 30 years old, but Krollmeister thinks sabotage is the only reason it would break. There's a trash can full of wood pieces here, but Nancy doesn't put any of the wood pieces inside it. The tornado is far away enough that it doesn't affect Nancy, yet close enough that it moves the box from the side of the barn to the front door. Debbie doesn't have enough time to sort her folders, but she has enough time to write out this series of clues.
Yeah, I know.
Mice!
Her interactive slogan used to be, "For girls who aren't afraid of a mouse." According to this receipt, Pa charges sales tax, but he doesn't charge sales tax when Nancy buys supplies later on.
Oh, good point.
Mel is not on the Waverly TV show.
You're right. How come Mel isn't in this mix? Not fair.
The word Frankenstein on the book's spine is facing the wrong direction.
Details.
Does Ned know Nancy has the Hardy Boys as her phone background?
Huh?
The Venetian garden background is from Curse of Blackmore Manor, not Phantom of Venice.
Ooh, that is a very good catch. I mean, you could describe it as Venetian in style. But you're right. That image was totally from Curse of Blackmore Manor. Yeah, good catch.
Nancy's phone is always blue, no matter what background you choose.
Put a sample disaster kit together for me.
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliché.
Yeah.
Scott needs a sample disaster kit. Why don't they have a real disaster kit that Scott can borrow?
That's a good point.
Okay? If you need a nanny, have your uncle send one.
Scott is a jerk.
Yes, he is.
What does Scott do all day? I never see him do anything besides tap 2 buttons on his keyboard.
Chicken pecking? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That tornado is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Nancy thinks a small tornado is cooler than her jetpack, pet orca, and the lost writings of Marie Antoinette, Abraham Lincoln, and Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, no, well, okay. I think those other things are cooler, but I think Nancy's instance here is trying to play kiss up to a very, edgy character. So.
And if you haven't introduced yourself to Pa or finished the filing, please do so.
Debbie wants Nancy to meet Pa before meeting Chaser Frosty.
Pa has the goods. You needed to run some errands and get stuff from him.
Oh, and thanks for driving that car up here for us. That was a big help.
Literally no one else uses the car besides Nancy.
That we've seen.
It's pretty much impossible to see where the mistakes are in this puzzle.
I agree. It's really hard to see. I think the transparency, the opacity, really, of each of these shapes could have been bumped up a little bit so you can see where the coloration of the map is peeking through.
This puzzle.
It's hard.
Why does it matter if they're in the same diagonal line? The pipes aren't connected diagonally.
Yeah, good point. That is a good point.
All right, Mouse. This house isn't big enough for the both of us.
Nancy talks right next to Frosty, and he ignores her.
Yeah, Nancy's
What
weird.
does Frosty do all day? It looks like he's staring at a coffee cup.
I believe that is a camera lens.
Nancy's driving.
Yeah, well,
How are
that's
there-
up to you. Nancy's driving is all on your control. So, who are we judging here?
No controls on these roads. There should be stop signs everywhere.
Yeah.
By default, Nancy drives much faster than everyone else. That is just begging for accidents.
I know, right?
Nancy causes horrible car crashes and leaves the scene of the accident.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So there are only 3 buildings in all of Oklahoma?
That you've seen.
Uh,
Well, have you been to the Midwest? There is like land forever.
Stuck on the far edge of the game here. A little help, anyone?
You're not allowed to go that way. You're leaving county lines.
I know all sorts of stuff about you. I even know your cell phone number, Miss Nancy Drew. Let's see, it's 523-555-4399. How do you like them apples?
Pa is a stalker.
No.
Connected in an emergency, just about the best way to stay safe.
Oh, my light went out.
And yet, Nancy doesn't have the contact information of anyone on the team.
Yeah, not fair.
Your number's right here by the phone.
Pa gestures to an empty counter while talking about the phone.
It could be underneath the counter.
Pa pennies are a blatant ripoff of Big Island bucks.
Rip off?
Pa made over 10,000 Pa pennies, all in the year 1998. I think he has a problem. How does Pa's store make money if no one uses money?
Just purchase one.
Oh, no, they use money and store credit. Yeah, I mean, they pay off the credit at the end of the month or something like that.
Wisely, our budget is very limited.
Without being told, Nancy knows her budget is $32.50. This puzzle. This puzzle reused from game 20.
And 12.
Right. It's time to get rid of him.
Debbie and Frosty don't hear Nancy's phone go off.
Lucky.
Debbie knows Nancy will be in the cornfield today, but she decides to have a secret conversation there anyway. Why didn't they chat in the basement?
Yeah,
it's
good
secluded from
question.
everyone else, and Frosty wouldn't even have had to move. Nancy...
Unless... No, there's no window down there. I was going to say, can you hear through a window at the other end of the house?
wait several days before talking to Debbie and Frosty about their plot against Scott. Why doesn't she confront them right away?
Good logic question.
Nancy doesn't tell Scott about Frosty and Debbie's sabotage.
Overheard them talking. They were talking about how someone, I assume Scott, was close to the edge.
Way too late to get cold feet here, Frosty. Scott needs to be taken care of.
They said Scott's name out loud. Why is Nancy guessing who they talked about?
Good catch.
Wrong car.
That would
This
be a
isn't
writing
the right car.
thing.
Why can't Nancy use the other cars? All she's doing is taking pictures with Frosty.
Which is why you don't need any other fancy vehicles to do that job.
Some great shots here. What about you?
How are you getting good shots? This is boring scenery.
Have you seen what kind of amazing things can be done with a DSLR camera? Nancy doesn't have that.
How do I download the photos?
Easy. Just plug the camera into the computer and do what it says.
That's uploading photos, not downloading photos.
Good
If
point.
you give me a little time, I'll organize everything into folders.
Frosty never does this. Frosty's Cloud Photo Challenge.
Would you like some candy?
I guess. Ugh, I hate chocolate. Keep it.
Can I interest you in some candy?
Why not? Nope, I don't do chocolate.
Nancy will offer someone the same piece of candy over and over again. Don't be so pushy, Nancy.
I was disappointed that you couldn't choose which ones to offer. Excuse me, I have something in my throat.
Goodbye.
Jeez, I've got something in my throat. It's terrible. Oh, there's so many ads. Oh my goodness, okay. Sorry about that. I don't have YouTube Premium or...
This is a broadcast of the
Hello?
emergency
Is someone
notification
there?
system. There have been multiple reports of a tornado touchdown in the area.
Why is this the only tornado in the game that gets an emergency warning?
Good question. I don't know.
I'm looking for candles. Can you help? Someone is out there, right?
Nancy hears the front door open, but she doesn't turn to look at who just entered. This person completely
It's dark.
disappears in a tenth of a second. No one moves that quickly.
Yeah.
We never get told who this person is or what they were doing here. We're left to guess it was Scott reading Debbie's letters, but why do that in the middle of the night? The letters were out in the open all day long.
Was it the letter or was it Frosty's camera or someone's camera that he was tinkering with? Because I think you're supposed to learn that at the end.
Shoot, the power must be out.
If the power is out, why is the basement light still on?
Generator?
There are 3 letters here, but Nancy can only read one of them.
Yeah, not fair.
Just wanted to say you did a pretty fair job driving during the chase yesterday.
Nancy didn't drive on a chase yesterday. She went picture taking with Frosty.
Ooh, good
Besides,
catch.
you weren't there, so how would you know what her driving was like?
Word of mouth.
Pretty much my job, fixing stuff.
They hired Chase to fix stuff before they knew everything would be breaking down.
It's good to have someone, a handyman on hand, excuse me, to fix equipment as it breaks. I mean, it's good to have that As soon as something goes wrong, you need someone to fix it ASAP with their line of work.
What were they planning to have him do if everything stayed intact like it should have?
It's over there on the workbench.
That's not a workbench. That's a shelf.
Yeah, technicality. Yeah, no, that's true. The workbench could be all of that.
What the mice found so appealing about that hose, but they sure went to town.
Chase says multiple mice chewed the tube when there is only one cut on the tube.
Yeah.
No one notices this is clearly a knife cut, not a mouse bite.
Yeah, unless there was another part. But yeah, that's clearly a cut. I mean, I think anybody can distinguish a cut between something that's been chewed on. Especially metal. Mice don't chew metal.
I hate to be the one to break it to you, Nancy, but cheese is not candy.
Then why is it in the candy section?
Snack section?
This puzzle.
Well, congratulations, man.
No, that was a good puzzle. That Fujita scale chart thing. I think that really helped understand the different wind speeds and storm measurements.
See, from what I've seen, you got that Vegeta display set up just perfect.
How was Pa able to see the display from where he's standing?
Yeah, good point.
Clove box snappers any day. Or Dr. Belleton's reconstituted rhubarb cordials.
Not that I doubt Pa, but I find it hard to believe that anyone ever made reconstituted rhubarb cordials.
Really?
Yeah.
What does she ask about?
1, 2, 3, 4...
Anything and everything, but mostly...
What's with the pause, Pa?
Ooh, good point. It could have been an audio editing issue. Like, they didn't cut off the end fast enough for Nancy's line, or there was an extra white noise before Pa's line. It is totally possible that, yeah.
I was just wondering, where's the Ma part of Ma and Pa's?
Even if Nancy knows Ma is dead, she still bothers Pa about his dead wife. Nancy is a jerk.
That is so true. Nancy, stop asking everybody about dead moms.
The interior of the mousetrap changes every time you use it.
Yeah.
This puzzle is long and slow, and you have to do it 4 times.
But I found it enjoyable.
The culprit lured mice into the house with corn, but the mice refuse to eat the corn when Nancy uses it.
Yeah, not enticing enough when there's a whole pile right there for free without having to go through any hoops and jumps.
Nancy caught way more mice than this scene shows. Now I'm worried some mice got loose in her car.
Yeah, good point.
I haven't noticed any little piles of corn.
I can't believe Debbie never saw the corn pile that's right next to her filing cabinet.
She doesn't clean.
I can't turn in. I still have stuff to do.
Some days, Nancy can go to sleep after doing her chores.
Yeah.
Other days, Nancy refuses to go to sleep because she magically knows Debbie will have extra chores for her.
Yeah.
The other way.
No, I know there was a little bit of a discrepancy with the task list and incentive to do anything with the logic in the game. There were a few blind spots for the player that I've experienced myself.
Turn back! Wrong way!
Frosty yells at Nancy for not going towards the storm when nobody told her where the storm is.
Good argument.
If Nancy stops at a photo place during a chase, she sees a bright sunny day. This puzzle.
Hey, that's a good puzzle.
Failed to get so much as 1 inch of footage on it, thanks to you.
Everyone blames Nancy for the loss of the footage when they should blame Frosty for not having a working camera.
Yeah.
Nancy finds Scott's key at the site of the sabotage antenna, but she doesn't follow up on this lead.
I think that's really close, though, to the end of the game, and so you just didn't have a chance to do so. But you're right, that would have been nice to follow up with.
Turn ahead 999 leagues.
The GPS only talks when it's broken.
Well, you know, with your phone GPS, you can always turn the audio on or off, and so this is the only instance where it does turn on. Nancy could have done that, but you're right. That's a bit of an inconsistency. That's not clear why.
What GPS is programmed to give distances in leagues?
Boat GPSs?
Frosty's screaming.
Is amazing.
You're afraid of mice?
Nancy thinks it's funny that Frosty is afraid of mice when Nancy is afraid of mice.
Unless Nancy was just startled or grossed out by mice.
Sure, driving without coolant will destroy a car, but the driver will get a warning before any real damage is done.
Why didn't Pete's car give him a warning?
Sabotage.
I found some very interesting letters.
All right, tell me more.
Seems that Debbie's been turning down some pretty good employment opportunities.
All right, that's not very interesting at all.
You know your game has problems when Nancy has a hard time convincing other characters to care about the plot.
Reading these letters, it's clear that she expects Scott out,
Well.
and soon.
No, the letter is a job offer. It has nothing at all to do with Scott. Debbie's desk changes sizes when Nancy talks to her.
Oh.
Debbie sees a random object fly out of Scott's office, and she immediately knows it's Scott's phone jack.
Yeah, good point.
How fast? Just a crawl, but still, who does that?
As long as you're making sure that everything looks right.
Scott and Brooke instantly change their conversation the second Nancy picks up the headphone.
So that the player can hear the important part of the conversation. Yes.
Instead of destroying the evidence, Scott leaves this knife in his office where anyone can find it. This conversation...
His office is really messy, and you know how much of a... how rude he is about his space.
And the knife prove that Scott is the culprit, but Nancy ignores this evidence and acts like she found nothing. The top of Scott's magazine is uncovered here, but it's covered up whenever Nancy offers him candy. This puzzle!
I know!
You have to solve all 3 puzzles in counterclockwise order, otherwise the game won't accept your solutions.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Nancy fixes the TV the exact same second that it's playing Frosty's footage. What amazing timing!
Right?
You screwed up. It happens to everyone. So just admit it and move on.
Debbie is a jerk.
Yes.
Frosty changes the topic when Nancy talks to him about trying to get Scott fired. Nancy lets him get away with this instead of pushing the issue.
Yeah, that's unlike
Actually,
her.
I'm kind of tired of catching mice.
Yeah? Well, maybe I'm kind of tired of Sonny stuff. Being such an all-around nice guy. Know what I'm saying?
Pa blackmails Nancy into catching mice. Pa is a jerk.
Yeah.
Remember, the lights won't turn until you activate them.
Scott unhelpfully doesn't tell her how to activate them.
Yeah, Nancy does have to figure out a lot on her own, huh?
Nice job, Nancy. Actually, it looks like we're out a bit early here. Nothing's developing like it should be. Let's get back to base and track from there.
All that work for nothing?
I know.
So preoccupied, he didn't even lock his office, and he always locks his office.
No, he doesn't.
Debbie says Scott always locks his office, but Nancy is able to snoop in Scott's office when he's not there.
Unlike him.
He left in the truck. He's got all of our equipment, and he's not answering his phone.
Debbie makes a big deal over how she has no way to find Scott. Later on, she says,
Little dot you see, follow that and it will lead you right to Scott. We put a tracker on his truck. It's a safety thing.
Oh.
why didn't she use the tracker to begin with?
Good point.
How did Scott get this paper inside his drawer when Nancy has the drawer key?
It's possible to close it, right? I don't know. That's probably a good point. More ads.
Brooke is paying Scott to leave town forever so his team will lose. Why didn't she do that to begin with? This puzzle.
I like that puzzle.
Why does Scott even have this puzzle? He
Secret code speaking between people.
doesn't want anyone to follow him, so why make a puzzle that lets people follow him?
Only the determined people will actually solve it.
Why did Brooke leave Scott this letter instead of calling him like she did earlier?
Good point.
No. Wait! I'm gonna have to deal with that later. It doesn't matter right now. What's important now is that we keep on top of this storm.
Debbie insists she can't leave to get Scott because of the storm. When we next hear from her, Debbie has left to go to the play. Scott's truck isn't visible here.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Scott's...
I think that would have been helpful to have Scott's the truck overlay right there. It would have made way more sense. What's wrong with Scott's butt?
But...
The people who've been looking up to you all this time.
in what universe did the rest of the team look up to Scott?
Yes, Brooke is paying me a small fortune to do so.
If Brooke has a small fortune to pay off Scott, why does she need the grant? Scott slaps Nancy on the shoulder, and she falls unconscious. Scott goes from mostly harmless sabotage to trying to kill Nancy with little provocation.
He has anger issues.
Scott doesn't bother to steal Nancy's keys to prevent her from chasing after him.
That would have been wise.
Nancy can call the Hardys and Krollmeister here, but she doesn't tell them about Scott's confession.
Not fair.
My Grange key's with you in Frosty's car.
Nancy isn't in Frosty's car. This puzzle.
Oh.
This puzzle reused from Game 5.
Yeah.
The culprit is getting away, and we're on a time crunch because of the twister, but sure, let's have a 72-second conversation before chasing Scott.
That has bothered me. It's like, come on, we gotta get going. Can you talk while I drive, you know?
He wasn't always like this.
Debbie waits until the last 5 minutes of the game before telling Nancy that Scott is dangerous.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. That's not necessarily something you'd put up front for a job offer. Hey, you want to work for us? My boss is dangerous and you could die.
Pushed Scott until the world saw how reckless he was being.
Debbie and Frosty are worried Scott is dangerous. Instead of trying to stop him, they plan to drive him over the edge and make him even more dangerous. How is that a good plan?
That was a bad plan.
According to the scene, Scott crashes into a pole. According to the map, the pole was knocked over before Scott got there.
Ooh.
Scott crashes because he's trying to avoid a bouncing tire. Where did the tire come from?
Well, with twisters, they could carry heavy things long distances. It could have come from anywhere.
Scott crashes in the middle of the highway, but when Nancy finds him, he's next to the shed.
Oh, that's a good point. They could have fixed that animation.
Conveniently located crowbar. What happened to all the mice that Nancy put here earlier?
You received community service for destruction of public property and interfering with public safety records.
Messing with public safety records and vandalism? When did Scott do that?
Good question.
Fare so well with a college. They fired him.
The game acts like it's a big deal to fire a professor in May. At most, he only had 2 weeks of teaching left, and besides, they denied him tenure, so it's not like he was going to stick around next year. Everyone besides Scott gets a free pass on sabotage. Why is everyone wearing different clothes in the ending sequence?
Is the next day? No, good point.
They're standing in front of the barn that was destroyed. The game logo moves up when Nancy answers the trivia question.
Yeah.
The credits list radio voices, but not TV voices.
But not TV. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That would have been fair to have TV voices. Unless they didn't want to be credited. We don't know. These are all these people right here, the radio voices, are interactive dev team members. This guy's in production. That guy was in production and design. He was a game designer. Production and marketing.
The credits don't list Pa's last name, which was mentioned in Ma's obituary.
Huh, good point. I mean, everyone knows him by Pa, though.
I have got some extra candy. Would you like a piece?
Why not? Cheese? What is this, some kind of cruel hoax? Wait, did you ask if I wanted candy or if I wanted cheese? I'm a little confused. Cheese? I hate to be the one to break it to you, Nancy, but cheese is not candy. Nancy, this is cheese. What am I supposed to do with cheese?
Oh, I see what you did right there. Not cool, Nancy. Not cool.
Nobody likes moon chunk. I like cheese. I'll take it.
Cheese? Is this a code? If you're in danger, blink twice. No offense, Nancy, but cheese and candy are not really the same thing.
This is so not candy. This is cheese. What's this now, cheese? Cheese? Is this some kind of prank?
No thanks. I ain't a big fan of no cheese. Well, that's just not even close to being candy. Cheese? Gotta be honest here, Nancy, if this is a joke,
So
I don't
funny.
get it.
So funny.
Cheese? No thanks. I don't really trust cheese.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. I mean, good point. I mean, I'm not, I don't remember Trail of the Twisters details too much. It's been a while since I played, but yeah, those are some legit, like, errors that look like they were inconsistent or some design flaws. But yeah, the game is a little bit linear, and there are a lot of chores and tasks to do, and, well, it is what it is. It has its charming moments, though, and I appreciate the cheese. That was hilarious. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.